get Jesus to see me. Everything that's in your way is about to be removed. God told me to tell you, expect it anytime now, anytime now, anytime.
Amen. So while you're standing, I want y'all to, I don't have to introduce him because he introduces himself. Just put your hands together for none other than Elder Gary Sprewell as he comes in his own way.
Well, praise the Lord, everybody. Come on, clap your hands and say something great about your God. Come on, y'all know better than that. Your hands are clapping, but your mouth is closed. Say something great about your God. He's a mighty God. I said he's a mighty God. I can't hear you. I said he's a mighty God. Well, will you hug 3 people and tell them get ready because anything is possible? Come on, hug 3 people, tell them get ready because absolutely anything, and I do mean anything, is possible. Would you help me salute one of the greatest leaders anywhere in the world, the Bishop Marvin Sapp. Come on, y'all do better than that. Amen. To the prettiest lady in the house, First Lady Young, help me thank God for her. Honor God for you. To all the elders, ministers, mothers, to all the fivefold ministry gifts, you might be seated. What a joy and what a privilege it is to be back at the chosen vessel. Certainly to my brother, Elder Myron Williams, and the choir and the band, and I'm just extremely excited to be back here. Now tomorrow, everybody say tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm extremely excited because we're going to be celebrating my brother one more time. Ain't but 5 of y'all excited about his birthday. Tomorrow's Bishop's birthday, and so many of you all already brought blessings for him on Sunday, and I was so proud to see that because the reality is, and you all, many of you all are just getting to know him as a pastor, but I've been watching him for many years. I've experienced the sacrifices he made in Grand Rapids, and what I've learned, and it's a difficult reality sometimes, and some of you all perhaps can attest to it. The difficult reality is sometimes you don't always reap where you sow. You can sow somewhere and never get a harvest from that place or person. But all that you all doing for him, I want you to know he's well deserving of it. And so I want you all to overwhelm him again one more time tomorrow. Now, before you rush to the Galleria to go to Neiman's to figure out which t-shirt looks like him, let me help you. All right, let me help you. He's very difficult to shop for. So what do you give the man that has everything? Options. You know what options means? Give him some money so he can choose what he wants. And so I want y'all to come back tomorrow night one more time and celebrate him because he's absolutely deserving. And I'm just excited about what God's doing in his life. How y'all feel about it? Are y'all glad he's in Texas? Amen. Everyone that has a cell phone, hold it up for me. Everyone that has a cell phone, hold it up. I want you to go to Instagram and follow me at Gary Sprewell. There's nothing spiritual about it. I'm just trying to get my numbers up. He nothing. Follow me at Gary Sprewell. I'm very serious about that. And after you get through following me at Gary Sprewell, follow me to Mark chapter 3. The Gospel according to St. Mark, chapter number 3. Very familiar passage of Scripture. Mark chapter number 3. I love to praise him. I don't know if y'all know that here. I love to praise him. I love to praise him. I love to. It's kind of old for some of y'all. Oh, he's my rock. Oh, some of y'all know it. He's the wheel in the middle of. I know he'll never just a jewel. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, I love. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, I love to. All right. Mark chapter 3. If you got it, shout, I've got it. If you're still looking, say, hold up, Spree. He's my rock. Oh, he's my wheel. Yeah. I know he'll never. No, 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 no. He's just a jewel. Hey. Oh, hallelujah. 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 I love to. Mark chapter 3. Mark chapter 3. If you got it, shout, I've got it. I keep hearing the name Stapleton. Stapleton. I heard it yesterday. Y'all know some Stapletons go to this church? All right, we're gonna figure. It's gonna make sense in a minute. Stapleton. All right, let's go to Mark chapter 3. Look at your neighbor and tell it, it'll make sense soon. Let's look at verse number 1. And he entered again into the synagogue, and there was a man there which had a withered hand. They watched him whether he would heal him on the Sabbath day, that they might accuse him. And he said unto him which had the withered hand, stand forth. And he said unto them, is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath days, or to do evil, to save life, or to kill? But they held their peace. Finally, verse 5, and when he had looked round about on them with anger, being grieved for the hardness of their hearts, he said unto the man, stretch forth thine hand. And he stretched it out, and his hand was restored whole as the other. When he looked round about on them with anger, being grieved for the hardness of their hearts, he said unto the man, stretch forth thine hand. And he stretched it out, and his hand was restored whole as the other. For the next 20 minutes or so, I want to talk about he's fixing my hand. Would you pass the prophecy and tell somebody near you, God's about to fix your hand? Be seated, please. Brothers and sisters, if I may survey the audience long enough to see if there's anyone other than me who, while you can't tell all your business in church because church folk tweet, you'll be honest enough to admit that sometimes life just seemingly deals you a bad hand. I'm looking for 15 people that's going to be transparent enough to admit that sometimes life is seemingly unfair. As we left the service on yesterday to the news of Kobe Bryant and other individuals whose lives were tragically lost in a helicopter accident, it left me sober and grateful. Because every week, and your bishop certainly can attest to this and understand this, every week, Myron can understand, every week we get on planes 5 and 6 times in a week. And every time the plane lands safely, it's a reason to give God praise. And you might not have ever been on a plane, but if you get out of your house in the morning and return safe, that's a reason to give God praise. But what do you do, church? What do you do when life deals you a bad hand? Can I tell you, everyone that lives is going to have a litany of experiences. Every day is not going to be a good day. And I don't know who told you that when you got saved, all of your bad days were going to be good, and that all of your enemies were going to be friends. Everyone that owed you was going to pay you back. But there's about 21 people that's been saved long enough to know that salvation and righteous living does not exempt you from bad days. Brothers and sisters, you're going to go through a litany of experiences. Church calls them trials and tribulations. Trials and tribulations. Trials and tribulations, church, are two big church words for problems and drama. And everybody's going to go through problems and drama. What I've learned, church, is anytime you go through trials and tribulations, problems and drama, it comes from one of three sources, brothers and sisters. Either God is doing it to teach you something, or the enemy is doing it to distract you from something, or here's the one ain't none of us want to admit to, because sometimes it ain't God or the devil. Sometimes it's your own decision. Oh, really? You gonna sit there with that Monday night look on your face like you don't know what I'm talking about? Everybody in this room that's been living longer than 12 years can identify at least one thing that you can admit, that was my bad. That was my bad. Oh, some of y'all can't say amen because you sitting next to your bad decision. Just wink. I see you. I see you blinking. Yeah. So sometimes you can't blame it on God. You can't blame it on the devil. It is a dumb decision that you are now living through the consequences of, brothers and sisters. But can I tell you that as I live, I've learned something else, that this is going to mess with some of your theology. This is going to help some of you all and hurt others of you, because I've learned that as you live, you'll discover that sometimes it ain't God, it ain't the devil, and it ain't even your bad decision. Sometimes it's just life. I know you can't say it, man, because you don't know no scripture that can test to that, but the Bible says time and chance happens to us all. So sometimes you can't trace it to God, the devil, or your own choice. Life just happens. But I've got good news, because it doesn't matter if it's God, the devil, you, or life, and we know, I wish I had a Bible, read it here, that all things work together. Would you please preach to your neighbor and tell him it's all going to work out for your good? It don't matter how you got the hand that you've been dealt. It's all going to work out for your good. Brothers and sisters, life deals you a bad hand, and you've heard the question asked. It's an age-old question, and perhaps you've even asked it yourself. If God is real, why does God let bad things happen to good people? Can I pop your arrogant bubble long enough to remind you that ain't nobody in this room really that good to begin with? Oh yeah, even Jesus the Christ, when he was called good master, responds by saying there's none good but the Father. So the real question is not why does God let bad things happen to good people, but rather why does God let good things happen to bad people? And I wonder if there's anybody that's going to be honest enough to admit that God's been real good to a bad boy. Would you please tell your neighbor, he's been better than I deserve? Church, life just deals you a bad hand. Let's examine our text tonight, because our text quite literally introduces us to an individual who's been dealt a bad hand. Brothers and sisters, the Bible tells us that Jesus comes to church, and when Jesus gets to church, brothers and sisters, there is a man there that has a withered hand. In order for you to really appreciate tonight's pericope, you've got to understand something about the word withered. That word withered suggests that by this point in the man's life, his hand has begun to dry up, shrivel up, or shrink. It is literally dying before his very eyes. Withered means his hand at this point has begun to dry up, to shrink up, and die before his very eyes. I don't know how many names and addresses I'm going to call tonight, but can I release the first corporate prophecy in the house and see who will activate it with your voice? Because God told me to get to church tonight and declare that your season of witherness ends tonight. No, I see your hand, but I don't hear your voice. I came to interrupt every interruption. I came to interrupt that bank account that's been drying up. I came to interrupt that marriage that has been dying. I came to declare everything that's been shrinking and dying on you ends tonight. Would you please prophesy to somebody and tell them it ends tonight? It ends. It ends. It ends tonight. His hand, church, is withered. Here it is. His hand is withered, church. His hand is withered. Now we're reading Mark's account, church, but in order for you to really appreciate this text, you really got to read this same story in the other synoptic gospels, because while Mark says he has a withered hand, one of the other writers says it this way. Mark says he has a withered hand, but one of the other writers says he had his hand withered. He had his hand withered, which suggests that his hand is jacked up, but he wasn't born that way. That something happened throughout the course of his life to cause his hand to begin to wither. But this is what I want to know, church, because I've been tiptoeing through the text, and I know the brother's condition, his hand is jacked up. I know the brother's position, he's in church. But what I want to know is, what's the brother's name? Okay, you're going to sit there like you don't know either. I know the brother's condition, his hand is jacked up. I know the brother's position, he's in church. But I've been looking through the scripture and I can't find what is the brother's name. Can anybody tell me what the brother's name is? I'm going to make this statement hoping that by now you all feel like I'm family and you ain't going to judge your brother and walk out on me. I'm going to be honest, and I hope, I don't know, I see judgment on some of y'all faces already. I'm going to say this in the hopes you don't judge your little brother. But can I be honest enough to tell you, this is one of the main reasons I can't stand church folk. I can't stand church folk. I love the saints, but church folk get on my last nerves. Oh, no. I love the saints, but church folk are some of the most nasty, cantankerous, two-faced, judgmental, messy folk you ever meet in your life. Not the saints, but church folk. Because isn't it like church folk to know more about the brother's business than they know about him? You mean to tell me you know so much about me that you know my condition, but you don't know my name? And I came all the way to tell somebody, you might have made a mistake, but you do have a name. I know you had a baby before you had a husband, but you are not the mistake you made. I came to tell you, you do have a name. Would you please tell your neighbor, I do have a name, you know. I can't stand church folk, because church folk will talk about you, but not talk to you to see how your hand got jacked up in the first place. But I came with an announcement for every praising tither. God told me to tell you, your hand is jacked up, but I'm about to fix it. Would you please tell somebody he's about to fix it? Here it is. He's labeled by his loss. He does not have a name in this text. I've got good news though. For 5 of y'all, he's disabled, but he's not disqualified. Can I tell you why? Because he's still at church. Come here, all of y'all that get vacant from church whenever you got a bad day. Come on, all of y'all that skip church when you get a headache. All of y'all who, whenever the enemy comes to your house, we don't see you at church for a whole month. I don't understand y'all, because I was raised by an old woman that told me when life gets hard, you don't run from God, you run to God. And I never did understand how it is you love God, but we can't find you with a flashlight when hell break loose in your life. The brother's in a bad place, but he's in the right place. Tell your neighbor, that's why I'm here tonight. I'm not here because I got all my bills paid. I'm not up here because everything's good at the crib. I'm here because if there's anywhere I can get a miracle, it's with the saints. And I came to tell you, you're in the right place at the right time. He's still at church. And this day, church, Jesus decides to come to church. And when he gets there, Myron, it's my first point for those of y'all that are taking notes. When Jesus gets there, he regards the crippled. He regards the crippled. When Jesus gets to church, he notices the brother with a jacked up hand. I'm going to tell y'all something that unless you travel, you wouldn't understand. But as I travel around the country, I've noticed that every church, this one included, every single church has 2 types of people. Every church has 2 types of people. The first type of person you'll find at every church is the crippled. Let me help you. The crippled is individuals who love God but has something in their life they need him to fix. And I know you sitting there with your sanctified Monday night look on your face like you ain't got nothing in your life you need God to fix. But let me help you. The Bible told your secret when it said all have sinned and come short. Look at your neighbor, tell him, what up, shorty? We all come short of the glory of God. So don't you sit there and act like ain't nothing in your life you need God to get out of your life. Let me help you. Even me, look at your neighbor, tell him, even him, even the sexy preacher with the mic, please don't act like you didn't notice. Please don't act like you didn't notice. Even me, I got something in my life that I need God to fix out of my life. Brothers and sisters, every church has individuals in it that need God to fix something about them. And this day, Jesus notices the brother with a jacked up hand. Here it is. This man's got a jacked up hand in the back of the church, getting his praise on, minding his business. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he begins to attract haters. He's minding, I'm in the text. He's minding his business. At this point, I don't even know that he knows Jesus is there. Nowhere up until this point does he have dialogue with God. Nowhere up until this point does he ever ask Jesus to heal him. He's in the back of the church getting his praise on, minding his business. And all of a sudden, people start talking about him behind his back. Church folk. That's what the Bible says. The Bible says he's in the back of the church, minding his business, getting his praise on. And all of a sudden, the religious folks start talking to Jesus about the brother. Can I, if I got about 5 folk that can relate to me, have you ever wondered why folk hate on you when you minding your own business? Yeah. And if you're like me, I've noticed seemingly the people that are hating on you usually are doing better than you doing. I mean, you got a better house than I got, a bigger car than I got. You got a big church, I ain't got no church. Your wife for 10, I'm single. Why are you mad at me? Can I tell you, anytime folks start hating on you, it is not because of where you are, but it is about your potential. And would you look at your neighbor and tell him, work your potential. You might not got a man, but you got potential. You might not got no money, but you got potential. Look at your neighbor and tell him, work your potential. Brothers and sisters, this man is in the back of the church minding his business, getting his praise on, and here it is. The religious leaders begin to talk to Jesus and say, Jesus, is it lawful for you to heal this man on the Sabbath day? Here it is. The religious leaders notice Jesus noticing the brother. And even church folk know something about God. Even church folk with their messy selves know that God cannot stand to see a praiser with a problem and not do something about it. Even church folk know that God can't stand to see a worshiper with a wound and not step into their situation. And brothers and sisters, anytime your haters begin to hate on you, it is an indication that your haters, your enemies, have better discernment than you do. You minding your business, doing the right thing for the right reason, and the people around you can discern that something is getting ready to happen in your life. I need you to just make an announcement to your neighbor and tell them, I don't know if you know it or not. Tell them that. If your neighbor ain't said nothing, find somebody that appreciates what God's getting ready to do in your life. Tell them, I don't know if you know it or not. Tell them, but something's getting ready to happen in your life. If your neighbor's sitting there looking bad and bougie, skip them. Find somebody that's been doing the right thing for the right reason. They ain't got no ill motives. They just trying to get their praise on. And tell them, I've got a suspicion that God is about to do something in your life. I know you don't see it, but God's getting ready to step in. He's minding his business. And the religious leaders begin talking about him. They say, Lord, is it lawful for you to heal this man on the Sabbath day? Jesus, I don't mind you healing him, but is it legal for you to heal him now? Or you ought to do something for him. I mean, he been coming to church. He got saved in jail, but you know how that jailhouse salvation is. It's just a matter of time. But he been faithful since he got out. You ought to bless him. But is it right to bless an ex-con with a 6-figure salary? God, I don't mind you blessing her. She been coming to church with them crazy kids. She ain't got no man to help her, but she been faithful and consistent. She even started tithing. You ought to bless her. But is it right for you to bless her with all of that? I get so tired of church folk trying to disqualify you for your next season. I came to tell you, you ain't got to investigate me. I know I don't deserve it, but can I tell you, I got it anyway. Look at your neighbor and tell him, I ain't crazy. Is it lawful to heal this man on the Sabbath day? Here it is. In order, y'all mind if I take off my coat? I promise you, I'm not wearing a suit tomorrow night. I should have known better when I packed, because my brother don't dress up throughout the week. I'm going to untuck, because when you're as big as I am, you just shouldn't tuck. In order for this text to work tonight, we've got to keep the text in context. And the real context of this text is, up until this point in Jesus' life, he's been going around healing the sick, raising the dead, and the religious leaders of that day are sick of it. They're tired of him going around working miracles, and they're trying to get rid of him. The real context of this text is that the religious leaders have been following Jesus, stalking him, if you will, trying to find him doing something illegal so that they can accuse him and ultimately kill him. But this day, they follow Jesus to church, which suggests to us everybody that come to church with you ain't here for the right reason, but we'll talk about that a different day. And this day they followed Jesus to church, and they noticed Jesus noticing the brother with a jacked up hand, and they begin dialogue with the Lord to see if they're gonna catch him right and dirty. And they say, Lord, is it lawful for you to heal this brother on the Sabbath day? Watch out what Jesus does. Jesus then turns his attention away from the religious leaders, and he looks at the man with a jacked up hand. He turns his attention away from the church folk, and he looks at the man with a jacked up hand. I don't know who this word is for, but if this is yours, shout about it, because God told me to tell you in 2020, I'm about to anoint you to ignore ignorant people. No, I don't know who that was for. I said this year God's going to anoint you to ignore ignorant people. Because anybody seeing you being consistent, giving your tithes and offering and telling you it don't take all of that, obviously don't know what God's getting ready to do in your life. So this year I free you from explanation. This year I free you from trying to explain why you're doing what you're doing, and just tell them, keep your eyes on me. He ignores them, looks at the man with the hand and says, stand forth. I'm almost done. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. So stand forth. In other words, stand up. Can I tell you why he tells them to stand up? Because there are people who don't want to see this brother blessed. Can I prophesy to your pastor? And Bishop, if you got any friends here, they're going to shout, run, dance, because friends don't let friends praise by themselves. Bishop, you are much like this brother in the text tonight, in that there are people who don't want to see your next season happen. Here's the problem. The people that don't want to see it happen are not folk on the outside. They're not the heathen. They are other church folk, other religious leaders, other bishops, apostles, and pastors. There are people who say, who do he think he is coming up in here taking our city? There are people who don't want to see him blessed. Can I prophesy and see if you'll shout about it? They don't want to see it happen, but they can't stop it. Oh, shucks, I don't think you heard what I just said. I said they can't stop it. They don't want God to do what he's about to do, but they cannot. Can I tell you why they can't stop it? And if you receive this, you're going to shout about it. They can't stop it because God has already made up his mind. And I came to tell you, he's already made up his mind. He's going to save all your kids. He's already made up his... Be seated, please. Be seated, please. He tells him, sit down, please. He says, stand forth. Please be seated. He tells him to stand forth. He tells him to stand up because there are people, here it is, that don't want to see him blessed. So what he does is tell him to stand up so that the people that don't want to see it can't miss it. Somebody in this section, I don't know who it is. God told me to tell you, everybody that don't want to see you come out ain't gonna miss this greatest season of your life. Oh yeah, everybody. Okay, you don't like that, but he prepares a table. I ain't got no help here. Look at your neighbor and tell him, stick close, because my greatest season is getting ready to happen. He says, stand up. Be seated, please. He tells him to stand up. He tells him to stretch forth thine hand. Here it is. He regards the cripple. Regards the cripple, but then he riles the critics. I told you there are two types of people in every church. First type of person is the crippled. Second type of person you're going to find in every church is the critic. Let me tell you the secret on the critics. The critics are crippled who are delusional. The critics are people who really got something wrong with them too, but because it's not always obvious, they want to judge those of us whose issue is obvious. All right, let me make it clear. You got a cast on your leg and walk with crutches, so it's obvious you're crippled. But the critic is someone with a pacemaker, and because you can't see what I'm dealing with, I'm gonna judge you because yours is obvious. But the last time I checked, a pacemaker is much more dangerous than a jacked up leg. You got issues too, so don't you judge me like you ain't got no problem. Critics always want to criticize the cripple who won't let their issue stop them. But when Jesus comes, not only does he regard the crippled, but he riles the critic. That word rile, Google it. That word rile means to annoy and or ignite. The Bible says Jesus, is my favorite part of the text, looks round about on them with anger because of the hardness of their hearts. I'm going to say something that Bishop Sapp is not going to be able to say amen to. I'm going to say something that Myron Williams is not going to be able to say amen to, but I'm going to say it anyway. Sometimes just looking at y'all face is enough to make you mad. That's what the text says. The text says Jesus gets angry looking at the hardness of their hearts. Looking at their face, he gets mad. Because if anybody ought to rejoice with a disqualified, disabled person, is other disabled, disqualified people. But you got the nerve to try to judge someone's season because you know something about their business as if you ain't got nothing in your pants that disqualifies you too. That's why you ought to rejoice with them that do rejoice. Because if anybody ought to be excited about somebody being blessed, it's someone else that don't deserve a blessing. The Bible says when Jesus looks at their faces, he sees the hardness of their hearts. And then he tells the man, stretch out your hand. Here it is. I don't know who this is for, but God told me to tell you, you like the brother in the text, the only reason he about to give you a miracle is to upset your enemies. Oh, yeah. Some of y'all wouldn't have got a blessing if they didn't treat you the way they treated you. Some of y'all wouldn't have got what you're getting ready to get if folk didn't hate on you the way they hated on you. But God said, just to upset them, I'm about to drop the biggest miracle in your life. He says, stretch out your hand. He regards the cripple. He riles the critics. But then he gives a ridiculous challenge. I'm done. Stretch out your hand. Your hand. Tell your neighbor it's time to stretch. Jesus gives a ridiculous challenge. Some of y'all looking at me crazy like, Spree, you were doing good until you suggested that Jesus would challenge me to do something ridiculous. But let me help you, because at this point in this man's life, his hand is not only withered, but his hand is a lot like you and I. I've noticed that whenever you're going through a bad season, anytime you're going through a season of witheredness, it's not personal, you're not antisocial, you're just withdrawn. And at this point in this man's life, his hand has literally withdrawn itself to his chest. His hand is stuck here. And so for Jesus to ask this man to move his hand is kind of crazy. Do you think I'm standing here because I like it? Don't you know I know people talk about me when I come in the room? I know folk are staring at me as I walk past. If I could do better, I would do better. But how dare you challenge me to do something impossible and uncomfortable? But Jesus tells him, stretch out your hand. Look at your neighbor and tell him it's time for you to stretch. Everybody that's been praying for a miracle, God told me to tell you it's time for you to stretch. You want a better job, but you won't tithe on the job you got. It's time to stretch. You've been asking God for a man
man, but you're inconsistent and unfaithful to the things of God. It's time to stretch. I know it's uncomfortable, but tell your neighbor, get ready to stretch. I know it seems like it's an impossible thing, but tell your neighbor, it's time to stretch. Jesus tells the man to stretch, and without an argument, church, you about to miss the biggest shot of the night. Without a rebuttal, without an explanation, the man obeys the man of God. Can I tell you why you didn't get a miracle last year? Because you got an argument for every instruction your leader give you. Don't nobody want to high five nobody on that. Don't nobody want to shout around the church on that. The reason why you can't be blessed is because every time your pastor tell you to do something outside of your comfort zone, you get an attitude. But the Bible says God tells them to stretch, and without talking back. Don't nobody want to high five and speak in tongues on that one, huh? He stretched. You ready for the biggest shot of the night? Pastor tells him to do something. He obeys. Here's the biggest shout. And it works. O-M-G. Bible says God tells him to stretch his hand. He stretches it anyway. Good evening, y'all. I'll see y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. I want you to bring somebody to church with you tomorrow night. I'm done. Again, I'm not Baptist, but I do have a story. I've already told you that my mama was a crackhead. Told you that my papa was a rolling stone. I've already told you that my grandma raised me. And what I'm getting ready to tell you, most of y'all not going to be able to identify with. But my grandmother raised me in a very strict Pentecostal house. There were rules in grandma's house that y'all ain't got at y'all's house. I know some of y'all ain't gonna be able to say amen for a few minutes, but just hear my story. In my grandma's house, can you believe that she didn't let my sisters and my female cousins wear pants? I'm not saying this right or wrong. I'm just telling you what grandma said. There were rules in grandma's house. Grandma didn't let us go to the movies. She said we were sitting in the seat of the scornful and we was watching the one-eyed devil. I know some of y'all can't identify. Grandma had rules in her house. I'm not saying this right or wrong. I'm just telling you the grandma's rules. Can you believe grandma didn't let us play certain kinds of games? Grandma didn't let us play Monopoly because it had dice in the game. Y'all better thank God for deliverance. Grandma didn't let us play dominoes. She didn't let us play marbles because the Bible said marble not. I know y'all can't feel your brother on this, but it's the truth. There were things grandma didn't let us do, but I had a backslidden side of my family that taught me how to play backslidden games. Y'all pray for me. If my grandma knew, she'd turn over in her grave. But I had a cousin that taught me how to play unsaved backslidden games. They taught me how to play dominoes. I know y'all don't know nothing about no bones in Dallas, Fort Worth. I'll break your glass table slapping bones. I've been delivered. Pray for me. I've been delivered. But they taught me how to play backslidden games. My cousins and them taught me how to play cards. I don't know nothing about poker. I don't know nothing about gin. But you don't want to see your boy at a game of spades. Y'all pray for me. I've been delivered. I've been delivered. I will hurt your feelings playing spades. I'm the guy that put the card on my forehead and wait for you to bust a move. I've been delivered. Pray for me. I've been delivered. I was playing my cousin at a game of spades one night, and my cousin was beating me to a bloody pulse. I mean, I ain't never got a whooping quite like the whooping he was giving me. About mid-game, my uncle came from the back of the house. He stood at the side of the table, and he watched the game progress. After my cousin got through beating on me, I mean, he whipped me till he didn't want no more. My uncle said, "Come here, Gary." I said, "What's up, Unc?" He said, "Do you know why your cousin beat you the way he did?" I said, "No, I've been trying to figure it out all night long." He said, "The reason your cousin beat you is because I taught him something that I never taught you." I said, "Unc, what did you teach him?" He said, "I can't teach it to you because you're a preacher, but I taught your cousin how to count cards." I said, "Unc, I'm confused. What in the world is counting cards?" He said, "I can't teach it to you." He said, "But if you count cards, you can stack the deck. I said, Unc, I really don't understand what is counting cards and what is stacking the deck. He said, Unc, he said, nephew, if you count cards, you can stack the deck. Now let me get some of you super spiritual people that's getting ready to tip out of the back because you don't like to hear this kind of talk in church. Can I pause long enough to remind you that God is so calculated, God is so intentional that he stacked things in your favor, that he's able to say all things. Back to our regular scheduled program. He said, if you count the cards, you can stack the deck. I said, Unc, I really don't understand what is counting cards. What is a stacked deck? He said, nephew, if you count cards and you stack the deck, you can fix your hand. I said, Unc, I'm real confused now. I don't know what counting cards is. I don't know what a stacked deck is. And I sure don't know what a fixed hand is. I said, what is a fixed hand? He said, a fixed hand is a hand that cannot lose. Good evening, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. But please, please, grab one neighbor, grab them by the hand, shake that hand, shake it like a Polaroid, and say, neighbor, your hand's been fixed, and you cannot lose with the hand you use. Is there anybody here? You got a feeling your hand's been fixed, and whatever you touch, it's about to win. Would you please tell about 3 people, my hand is fixed, and I cannot lose. I'm done. I got to get out of here. But some of y'all looking at me crazy. Raise your right hand. If I told you that God said he's fixed your hand and whatever you touch for the next 6 months is about to grow, multiply, what you about to go do? Raise that right hand, because some of y'all think I'm up here talking to be talking. God told me to announce over the faithful tonight that whatever you touch is about to prosper. Whatever you touch is about to win. So go back to school and win. Go back to the bank and win. Touch at least 5 people and tell them, go win, go win. Playing with you. Raise your right hand. After tonight, don't touch it if you don't want it to multiply. After tonight, don't touch it if you don't want it blessed. After tonight, don't bless it if you don't want God to favor it. I need you to take that blessed hand and touch at least 5 people and tell them, take some of this. Take some of this. Your money's getting ready to grow. Your family's getting ready to get saved. Take some of. Whatever you touch. I said whatever you touch. I said whatever you. Raise that right hand. Because there's about 50 of y'all waiting on to feel something. But can I tell you? You're going to have evidence, and I don't know who I'm talking to, but I heard God say as early as tomorrow, you're going to have evidence that favor is in your hand. And I just need you to do your neighbor a favor. Just touch as many people as you can and tell them, be healed, be delivered, be set free. Take some of this. You'll never be the same. Because favor is in my hand. You ain't touching nobody. I said touch them until things get better. I said touch them until things turn around. I said touch them until things get in their favor. Touch them and tell them I command you to be blessed. Touch them and tell them I command you to have a great passion. It's in your hand. I said it's in your hand. But just look at your hands. I got to get out of here, Myron. But these signs shall follow them that believe in my name. Can I fast forward to my favorite part? They shall lay hands on the sick and they got to recover. I need you one more time. Touch at least 5 people and tell them I command you to be delivered. I command you to be set. Can I tell you what Grandma said? Grandma said, don't wait till the battle is over. Shout right now. If you believe God, open your mouth and shout. Where's that sister from yesterday? She was on the 3rd row yesterday. Where's she at? She on the other side? Come on over here. Are you a runner or a dancer? How you get your praise on? All right, she says I'm a runner. I need somebody either related to her or that lover come stand with her, because friends don't let friends praise by themselves. I'm going to ask God this year. Somebody shout this year. I'm going to ask God this year to exceed your expectations. To give you back pay for everything that was lost. And to reward you for struggling with integrity. Some of y'all can't be blessed because when times get hard, your spirit get bad. But God said, I'm going to reward you this year. And God said, write the vision and make it plain. God can do one of 2 things. He can either breathe on you or blow on you. When God blows on you, your stuff scatters, but when he breathes on you, it comes to life. God said, this is the year I'm getting ready to breathe on those private dreams. I'm getting ready to breathe on those private desires. God said, this is the year of manifestation for you. God said, there's been some promises that's been delayed, but God said, this is the year it's going to come into your hand. I don't know who Arthur Lynn is, but God said, this is the year I'm getting ready to put it in her hand. And everything you thought it was too late to accomplish, everything you thought the season was past and over for, God said, this is the year I'm about to fix your hand and speed up the process, because you're about to reap because you did not faint. When I count to three, I need everybody that believes God. Run, shout, holler. 1, 2, 3, go. Hey, Arthur Lynn, Park Kelly. I ain't never seen a middle name like that either. Let me tell you what I'm looking at. And all of y'all waiting on me to call your name, the quickest way to get a miracle is to shout with someone that's getting one. If you praise God for her, would not be selfish, God will give you some of what he about to give her. Because I'm looking at a check from the government that says paid to the order of Arthur Lee Parkley Morgan. And there's a whole lot of zeros on that check. And I'm about to declare payday has finally come. I need everybody that need a... I don't know what some of y'all waiting on. You better shout for hers and God will give you yours. Oh, it's getting ready to happen. I said it's getting ready to happen. Go ahead and get yours. I don't know what's wrong with some of y'all. Friends don't let friends pray by themselves. Everybody say thank you, Lord, for you've done for me. I need you to say thank you, Lord. Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, you done for me. You done for me. You didn't have to do it, but you did. You didn't have to do it, but you did. You didn't have to do it, but you did. You done for me. You didn't have to do it, but you did. You done for me. 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 Everybody say, thank you, Lord. You've done for me. One more time, say thank you, Lord. That's gonna be your testimony. You've done for me. 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 I gotta go. Let the church say yes. Everybody say yes. Lift your voice, say yes. Say yes. I can't hear y'all. Say yes. Everybody clap your hands. You ain't clapping. Clap like you're sanctified. Clap like you got the Holy Ghost. Clap like your hands been fixed. Let the church say, yeah. Everybody say, yeah. Say, yeah. Ooh, yeah. I need you to clap like you got a good hand. Everybody clap your. Hey, I need you to call somebody, bring somebody to church tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's the last night, and I just believe God's gonna give us miracles, signs, and wonders tomorrow night. Would you tell somebody something big's gonna happen tomorrow night? Tell them that. I said, tell somebody near you something big is gonna happen tomorrow night. Who was that over there that said they knew that Harden lady? Can she be here tomorrow night? Do y'all know? She works? Call her on the phone. Let's see. She's on a plane? She going or coming? Okay. All right, let me just say this. We were in Kansas City 2 years ago in revival with Bishop Mark Tober. And the first night of the revival, we're in this kind of mode, and the Holy Ghost stopped me and brings me to this mother that's sitting with the mother's board. And the Lord showed me this lady on a motorcycle. The Lord described it to me, light-skinned, short hair. She was on a motorcycle. And the Lord told me to stop service and dismiss death. After I got through describing her, the mother almost lost, said, that's my daughter. We prayed, believed God, dismissed the angels, dispatched angels, dismissed death. The next night, that daughter came to church. If y'all don't believe me, call Bishop Mark Tober. Maybe on YouTube still. Lady came to church the next night and said last night she's a part of a motorcycle club. And last night she was with her group on a motorcycle going up something. And this group that she was with, it was real dark. There was a truck way up in front. She was in the back of the line apparently. And she said these big rocks came out of nowhere. She said the motorcycles began to swerve and a couple of them got in accidents. I think one of them was fatal. She said, but then there's me. I don't know, but I want to cancel death off of that girl's life. I take a bohoshana mahaya. As sure as I'm short, God's getting ready to cancel death off of her life. I don't know where she is or where she's going. But I send angels in the air with her. I need somebody that believes God can do anything. I said, I send angels in the air with her. Satan, the Lord is against you. The blood is against you. I plead the blood. I said, I plead the blood. I dispatch angels to cover. I command her to live. Satan, the Lord is against you. The blood, the blood, the blood, the blood. In the name of Jesus, the blood, the blood. I need somebody to just walk the aisle and plead the blood. Come on, Zion. Get out of your seat and just plead the blood. The blood, the blood. The blood over your house, the blood over your family, the blood over your kids, the blood over my Messiah. Glory, 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 Lift your hands. The blood covers. The blood covers. I said the blood covers. There's somebody on the far right of this room, Mooney. Who are you? Wave high. I can't see. I see a couple of hands. Who are you? The blood covers everyone in your bloodline tonight. The blood covers everyone in your bloodline tonight. While we were pleading the blood, that death angel skipped over the tonight. That demon of suicide that's been plaguing people's minds in this room, I silence the mouth of the enemy. I rebuke depressions, anxiety. The blood makes your mind whole. Somebody shout Jesus. I gotta go. It's time for me to go, but I feel God getting ready to do something. I need somebody that got the Holy Ghost. Just plead the name Jesus. Over your mind, Jesus. I see you, you foul demon. Come out of here. Come up out of here. The blood is against you. Lift your hands everywhere. God's regulating emotions tonight. He's healing emotions tonight. Out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, I've got to stop. We'll finish this tomorrow. Out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. I need everybody, and I mean everybody, to go to at least 3 people, give them a hug, and tell them everything just got better. Tell them that. I need you to say it. 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 I need you to say it.
I'm waiting about 15 of y'all because what comes out of your mouth is getting ready to cover your house. I'm waiting for about 15 of y'all because what comes out of your mouth is about to cover your house. It's breaking for some of you. Hallelujah. Lift your hands. Come on, everybody lift it. Come on, give him the fruit of your lips, church. Hallelujah. Now come on, everybody, just open your mouth and give him the fruit of your lips. Tell him how great he is. Come on, tell him how wonderful he is. Come on, let me hear you, church. Tell him he's a mighty God. Tell him there's no one like him. Come on, Zion, talk to him. Tell him how great and mighty he is. You're a great God. No one saves but you. No one delivers but you. Come on, Zion, lift your voice. Tell him how much you love him. Tell him who he is. Come on, tell him how much you need him. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Glory to God. Glory to God. Glory to God. Glory to God. Every head is bowed, every eye is closed. Every head is bowed, every eye is closed. Tonight, if there's someone here that doesn't know Jesus, if you're in this room and you're unsure where you'll spend eternity, let them fix your hand tonight. If you know you need to give your life to God for real, without any shame, without any embarrassment, I just want you to lift your hand as high as you can get it. You say, tonight I'm giving my life to God for real. Father, your word says no man comes to you except the Spirit draw them. I'll call them, but I need you to draw them. Touch the heart of every sinner and backslider. Draw them to your cross in Jesus' name. If that's you, you say, Elder Sprewell, tonight I'm giving my life to God for real. Just lift that hand. Lift that hand. Hallelujah. If your hand is or was lifted, would you please make the boldest step of your life? Dismiss yourself from that row and meet me at this altar. Come on. And the people of God are praising God as they come. I said the people of God are praising God as they come. Come on, if your hand was lifted, come on. Come on. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Come on. If you're saved and you know it, clap your hands and give God praise. Grab the hand of your neighbor. Grab the hand of your neighbor. For the next few moments, I just want you to pray for the hand that you're holding. I don't have time to lay hands on every person, to call every name, but I believe there's power in your mouth and in that fixed hand. And I want you to declare some things into your neighbor's life. Decree that whatever was broke, God just fixed. Pray that God's getting ready to give them success like they've never seen. Pray that God gives them the determination. Let them know that failure is not an option, because all of heaven is backing them up. Come on, Zion, pray for your neighbor. I decree that the hand I hold is the hand of someone that's about to accomplish great things. I decree no weapon formed against my neighbor is getting ready to prosper. Thank you that angels has already met them at their address. Thank you that the blood has already covered their bloodline. Thank you that everything that was wrong is turning in their favor. I squeeze success into this hand. I squeeze victory into this hand. I squeeze a miracle into this hand. And I decree that because my hand is fixed and my hand is in yours, all is well in the name of the Lord Jesus. If you believe God, open your mouth and shout for the hand you just prayed for. Hallelujah. Come on, one more time. Hug at least one person and tell them all is well. Please tell them that. Hug them and tell them all is well. Please tell them that all is well. Hallelujah.